I'm Mr. MegaManFan, and welcome back to Genesis Does, and today we're looking at Columns. According to the box, it was on sale, new, for $9.99, but I'm not sure that that's the price I paid for it. That's just whatever was left on top of it when I got it that I never peeled off. This is the ancient Phoenician game of Columns. Well, that's just the backstory they made up for it. I'm sure that in ancient Phoenicia they were not dropping colored gems into racks and matching 3 in a row, horizontally, vertically, or diagonally, and then pulling the gems out of the rack and dropping 3 more. And as you can see, even though it said new $9.99 on the front, this is not new. In fact, it is very far from new. This is one of the roughest looking Sega Genesis cartridges that I have, and for whatever reason I've never gotten around to upgrading it to a better complete in box copy. I'm sure if I found one for cheap at a pawn shop or a thrift store, I would go ahead and do that, but I wouldn't pay whatever it currently fetches on price charting for a complete in box copy just for that purpose. And since I already brought up price charting, let's just go ahead and look and see what it goes for these days. Columns for Sega Genesis goes for $5.90 loose, $11.20 complete in the box. That's as of the recording of this video in 2020, so whenever you're watching it, that's probably changed quite a bit, up or down one way or the other. But if I found it for less than $10 and it was in really nice condition, I'd probably go ahead and do that because I do like Columns, and then I could sell or trade off the other copy at some point in the future. As mentioned previously, it's a match 3 game. You just line up the colors, and then you get rid of the colors once they are all in a group. And as the game indicated when I started playing, it gives you hints on what to match up until level 3, at which point it's going to stop giving you advice. As for Columns itself, the game was released in different territories close to around the same day. June 29th, 1990 in North America, 1 day later in Japan, July 9th in the European Union the same year. So they obviously just wanted to get it out all around the world as fast as they could, and why not? This is, for whatever you want to consider this statement worth, the Tetris of Sega Genesis. It's their definitive puzzle game. It's the game most associated with the platform in the puzzle genre, and it's the most ported to other Sega systems. The Game Gear had it as a pack-in. It was on the Saturn and the Dreamcast as well. It's been an arcade game, and eventually it's been ported to damn near everything, officially or unofficially. There are bootleg versions of Columns all over the place, but one curious version that's not a bootleg and is in fact fully licensed is the Game Boy Color port called Columns GB Osamu Tezuka Characters. That's right, the same animator I mentioned in the Blue Blink video for PC Engine. They made an exclusive Game Boy Color version of Columns featuring his legendary characters. I've got to get a hold of a copy of that somehow, some way, and play it here on the channel. Obviously not on Genesis Does, but maybe on Retro Hunting Adventures, or just a one-off video about a cool import game I have. And it's the perfect kind of import game to play because puzzle games you don't need to really understand the text for, just like shoot-'em-up games or most platforming games that aren't heavy in the role-playing game elements. You can just pick it up and play. And that is the best thing about Columns. It is simple to get into, addictive to play. It provides for easy entertainment without too much strain on your resources. You can just start, stop anytime you want. It's practically an iPhone game of its time, even before anybody could have ever conceived of playing electronic games on their cell phones. In fact, very few people would have even owned a cell phone back when this came out because they used to be the size of a brick and the calls would cost you $10 to $20 a minute. It was not the thing a casual person had. Cell phones were very different when I was a little kid. So was video gaming in general, because there wasn't the wide world of internet game facts to look things up and figure things out. You just had to talk to your friends or buy strategy guides. And that's another thing about columns, is you don't need a strategy guide for this one. You don't need to look it up on game facts. You just sit down, start matching gems, and have yourself a grand old time. It is the godfather of puzzle games on Genesis, just like Osamu Tezuka was the godfather of animation in Japan. So, do yourself a favor, if you don't already own a copy of Columns, pick any platform you like, from Game Boy Advance to PC Engine to Saturn to Game Boy Color to original Sega Genesis, because there's a version of Columns for all of them. You really can't go wrong. Some will have a little faster gameplay or a little better sound quality, but I think the Genesis version will always stand the test of time as among the best of the best. They got it right from the start, so you can't really go wrong with this one. And one last thing I will say before we wrap it up: look out for those super blocks, and you can match all the colors it touches at once. Thanks for watching.